You felt it, they felt it, we felt it, so we're gonna break it down.
We're gonna analyze why specific songs and scenes feel the way they do sometimes in Bollywood, especially the ones that make you feel pain, stress, emotional damage. Starting with this. Papon.
What a tune! Okay, gorgeous. Gorgeous chord progression.
This whole directing to me felt so congruent to everything because even in the way the color grading was done of the movie for this song, when you watch this scene and when you watch and you listen to the song at the same time, everything feels so congruent that it feels like the only person they ever had in mind was Papon.
Correct.
The only melody they ever had in mind was this, and the only composer they ever had in mind, I actually always forget the name of. Pritam composed that song.
He ate.
Because it feels like everything about that project was so meticulously made.
It was. It feels like that.
Nothing was made by accident. Every shot, every angle, every chord progression, meticulously and calculated.
And the performance of the actor was incredibly on point. I feel like there is a question of what this chord progression does to an actor, and especially to me it's very interesting because in Bollywood something happens that I have never seen done before, which the actor doesn't sing, but he is acting through song. And there's a disconnect there. You're not experiencing it the same way that you would if you were singing the song yourself. So a lot of the times the actors have to sing it on scene, but there is a certain sense of discomfort. So to me, in my mind, there's a disconnect. However, in this particular scene,
beautiful,
stunning,
truly beautiful.
Love this song. Don't know what the heck was happening in the scene. Also, I feel like it was so out of place. This was so out of place. Love the song though. In terms of like an isolated track, gorgeous.
Yeah, but it's not an isolated track because it's part of a movie. So it like the track, it's a fine track, but it's genuinely it still has the same issues that the movie does, which is it has an identity issue because the issue with Ek Villain, it wasn't that it was per se a terrible story. Like you could have told an interesting story, genuinely. The issue with Ek Villain is that it is a convoluted, identity-less mess. It does not know who it wants to be, and neither does the song, because this is actually quite a peculiar song for them to choose for an action scene, because it's not grungy enough, but he's also not happy enough or sad enough to just be a sad scene like Ranbir Kapoor, fucking rock star, depressed as fuck because Nargis Fakhri finally left the set. This is, this was like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, this was a weird middle. In terms of the song, as an isolated track, you're listening to this and you're in your feels. You have...
It's fine.
This is great.
Yeah, it's fine.
It is great. The lyrics are fantastic. I think it's perfectly timed. The vocalist was perfectly casted. Everything about that track is objectively fine. It's a good song. It is a problematic scene because again, it just doesn't push the bar enough to be grunge, and it doesn't pull on the feeling aspect of it strong enough either. So it's sort of like a watered down rock song. It's like a watered down rock song. It doesn't want to be grunge.
Yeah.
So it's just something watered down. Oh yes! I love this. I love this because the vocalist is nearly flat, and because of the sense of tension in the track, paired up with that scene.
Fantastic.
That you're like confronting God. Oh my God! It's like a cry for desperation, and I love when songs do that. Especially Tum Hi Ho is a very good example of that. In that reprise when Arijit is like unhinged in the booth and he's like a little bit flat and a little bit off in the notes and he's tense, and I love that because human emotion is raw, and if you're actually expressing the biggest extent of it, the biggest emotion of it, you want to hear some of that edge. And in studio it's really difficult to sort of encapsulate that, primarily because the singer has to repeat the phrase over and over and over again until somebody says, oh, this is a very good take, or we can work with that. However, it's hard to replicate that sort of rawness and that sort of like tension that is nearly flat, that is nearly off the beat, and is sort of sitting behind in the tempo, because that means that the singer has to be in that place.
Correct.
And it's very tricky to get right, and that was a very good song for that.
Agreed.
Oh, poor boy. Oh, no.
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Wow, what a
beautiful.
scene.
I don't know
I
what
had
the
never seen that
context
before.
of that is.
That is fucking gorgeous.
But somebody crushed that man's heart.
And also, what a realistic representation, musically and the depiction of the actor, of what it's like to spiral. At some point, try to snap
Crash
yourself
out,
of it. Yeah, bro's crashing out.
Crashing out.
Bro's crashing out on the movie set. But, you know, how he's trying to snap himself into it, or trying to, you know, what happened, or so many emotions, but that is basically what that spiraling feels and looks and sounds like.
Can I say something? If I listened to that song, I would not picture that scene.
Whoa, me neither.
I would not picture that scene. So the directing for this particular scene was absolutely stunning. Also, the slow zoom into that close-up.
Perfect. I'm telling you,
the glittering of the eye, the tears in his eyes.
Indian cinema, Indian cinema does some things so well. Like it's scarily good.
I agree.
You're like, what the fuck?
I agree.
And you can't find many other industries in the world where then you're like,
consistently that great.
what the hell?
Yeah, I agree.
They have very original ideas in specific sense. Obviously, there's some cultural, you know, ways in which they perceive emotions differently, because every culture does experience love in a different way. We have more common ground than uncommon ground, but there are specific ways an artist from different cultures or different parts of the world
that we
can
interpret.
depict things.
Yeah,
correct.
interpret an emotion. I agree.
Oh,
Dude, this film. I want to watch it just for this scene. Oh, this scene.
Oh.
It's just so great.
Right.
It's so great. The 360 spin of that camera, the focus on his pain and
Sonu
agony,
singing, bro.
and that absolute relief. You see the relief in his eyes. I don't know. You know what? I thought this was like a drama film.
It's an action film.
It's an action film, and he's like chopping people up and whatever.
It's so weird.
It's such a strange premise for a film. I want to watch it just because of that scene, just because of that song.
I'm hoping it's a bit like Bajarangi Bhaijaan. You know,
yeah.
I think it might be like that. I'm not sure, but
it makes you every single time I want to cry.
It's so fantastic, bro. That 360 they do with him, and then when they pan out to see the
color correction in that scene.
No, but the pan out is so important, because it's like, this is the magnitude of the scene, and then you have the vocal flutters that are pinnacle of Sonu Nigam to represent, in my opinion, heart fluttering, the stomach dropping, but then also finding grounding and the realization that it's over. Like, whatever the fuck happens in this scene, it was like, holy shit, something positive has happened, and I've been fighting for this so long, and I've been numb for such a long time, and yet now I'm able to feel. And that's what that orchestral,
it's flooding in,
and symphonic chord progression showed, and you're like, what
beautiful.
the
It's
if
just
this
the
movie is
intensity.
bad, bro, if this movie is bad,
this scene makes up for it all.
I swear to you, it does not matter.
I agree.
I will stick through it just for this.
I agree.
Everyone gets pissed because you're like, oh, you guys are reviewing bad stuff, bad movies from India. So first of all, it's only been 3, bro. We've reviewed a lot of movies. And second of all, yes, mother trucker, if the album is good and the music is good, I'm gonna be there. And we have to review the good, the bad, the ugly, the outstanding, and the underrated. Damn. Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Wow,
he's a good actor.
That was pretty good.
That's a good actor. The slow blink.
The slow little tear, the single tear drop.
Mohit?
It was good. It was good. Again, I felt like that was a little bit too upbeat in terms of composition.
It's early 2000s Bollywood.
Yeah.
They like to do that.
Yeah, it's a little upbeat, and it's a little bright for the intensity of the emotion that he's portraying.
I would have liked to have seen something more.
I do like a
intertwined.
darker. I do like a little darker undertone.
It doesn't have to be alternative rock. It doesn't have to
No.
be an electric guitar. There's many ways to represent those tiers.
Correct.
but-
Nuance in the chord progression. I just it
Maybe
felt
lyrically
a little,
there's a disconnect.
Perhaps.
Maybe because we're not understanding the lyrics. That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, this was interesting. He was good at that though.
Do you know which movie I really like the way they described like despair, and they did do it with major chords to this? Homtum.
Ah, they actually did that really well.
Yeah, they-
especially because of the tone of the film.
Correct. They did it quite well there, and I thought that pairing of Seth and Rani was like very good as well.
Yeah,
Musically,
I think they did a really good job.
they represented the music quite well.
काली काली खाली रातों से होने लगी
I swear he's always in his feels.
खोया खोया
Bro's
इन
cooked.
राहों में अब
Oh, this is
मेरा
gorgeous. Stunning.
Nice.
I swear he's always in his feels. I feel like every time Ramir is in a scene, he's always in his feels.
Yeah, and Mohit Chauhan is singing.
Yeah.
He's on the urge of tears, bro.
Like,
or driving that
crash
car
out.
off of the.
Yeah, crashing out. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because it's very vulnerable. You have very little going on in that specific phrase. You have a guitar, the vocals they're very forward, and you hear a lot of the natural human nuance. Because I feel like with Mohit, they do very little to his vocal makeup.
Yep,
on
they
studio, similar to what they do to Arijit. Like they do very little to equalize the imperfections. They do very little to sort of like enhance his natural color. It's very much whatever happened in the take. They sort of they keep it. It gives a different tonality, gives a different texture to the scene.
So for this movie, the composer was Vishal Shekhar, and
okay.
Salim Sulaiman did the actual background score.
Oh, nice.
It's a movie, I presume, about them fucking traveling or something. It's called Anjana Anjani.
It was Priyanka Chopra, no?
Yes, Priyanka and Ranbir, yeah. Directed by Siddharth Anand and written by him as well.
Oh, okay.
The lyrics go, my eyes got rain... What the fuck? It means have forgotten you. That's the name of the song. My eyes got raining. All right. My sleep cries in the corners of eyelashes. My tears fall and heart gets hurt. Fuck, these translations are garbage. Black and blank nights are becoming my friend. Lost in these paths, I have nothing on my own. Every moment, every second, how I bear. Every moment, every second to myself, I keep saying, I've forgotten you. Then why do your memories make me cry? Okay, I think we understand a bit.
It makes me wonder
Why?
if this is a unrequited love, sort of like one-sided love situation.
Probably.
Perhaps.
They seem to cast him for that.
He's very good at that longing look. Look at that.
He is. He's a great actor, man. I rate Ranbir so much.
I actually think he does a really good job. Yes, I agree.
Me too. Well, let us send us some more scenes or songs and scenes together that have represented specific emotions that you'd like us to analyze, or some of your favorites, and then maybe we'll analyze them from a more technical perspective and let you know what makes them special, or perhaps
What let them down?
correct.